Hello everyone, my name is Angelo Caverte and I'll be walking you guys through on how to set up your MindTap course. Now instead of going through the PowerPoint, I'll be walking you guys through in an actual Blackboard page so that this will make more sense. Keep in mind that this Blackboard page is mine and this is a sample page, so you aren't going to see everything the same in your own page, but the important parts are going to be the same. So just keep that in mind. So the first thing you're going to need to do is actually to disable your pop-up blockers. So depending on what kind of browser you have, so you guys can see here I'm using Firefox. It'll be different for every browser, so just make sure to Google how to disable your own pop-up blockers, and so that everything will actually work. So as you can see, mine is already disabled. So the first step, if we go through the PowerPoint, is to go to your instructor resources. Now, like I said, this is my sample, but normally you'll see that right at the very end of your left tab right here. Click instructor resources and you will normally see here your syllabus and other good stuff that you will need in order to set up your page. For this section, if we go to step 2, actually step 1 still, you are going to copy the course code that's normally right here. It'll say do not give this code out to students. The students don't need this. All they need is a link to the MindTap. So this is only for you. So copy that. And the next step is to click any Cengage or MindTap link on your course. It could be a link to a quiz, an assignment, a reading. It really doesn't matter. So long as it's a Cengage link. And if you can see here, this is the Cengage symbol. That's all you need to know in order to identify whether this is a Cengage link or not. We normally embed a Cengage link in the instructor resource itself. It's the one where you find the course code, and we also do that on week 0, and obviously if you have any assignments you can get that. But in order for the process for making the the MindTap faster, we do that in the instructor resources. So go ahead and click that. Then you will see here a pop-up. This is going to be the important part. I'm actually skipping step 3 and 4 here. Normally in step 3 and 4, if this is your first time setting up your MindTap, is that you're going to be required to log in your Cengage account. And if you haven't done that for the first time, then you're going to have to do that. So you just go ahead and log in your Cengage account. That's normally your Hallmark email plus the password you created or the password that's provided to you, assuming that you haven't reset the password to your own thing. So once you're done with steps 3 and 4, that's the login, you go to step 5, which is going to be the important step. So here, you are going to make sure that you select this section right here, this tab right here, copy from another instructor's course. This is because you're not actually creating a completely new one. We already built something, and that something is going to be the one that you're copying over to your course. So you click copy from another instructor's course. This is where you paste the course key that you copied earlier. You click verify, and now you're going to be setting up your course. Normally we suggest that you name your course the course code. So let's say, for example, English 1301, or let's say this is probably a SciSec course for 303, whatever the course code is. And we would suggest putting the term, date, and your schedule. So if it's MEV or online, whatever it is, you just put it there so that, especially if you have multiple MindTap classes, you'll be able to differentiate between each. So it's easier. This is the easier naming convention that we would suggest. Course start date really doesn't matter so long as it's open for the whole term. And we would normally suggest for the course end date to put it a couple years after, just because it's easier to manage, especially if you need to go back and check the grades and all that stuff. It's easier to just keep it open as opposed to having to reopen, edit, and reopen your courses. Okay, so just set it for about 2-3 years afterwards. Doesn't matter what date it is. The time zone will always be Central Time. and you can go ahead and click continue. The last step will be to synchronize your grades, and you will always need to select the individual activity scores. If you do the overall, then it'll average all of their assignments, and that wouldn't give them the ability to actually have a grade for each assignment. It'll be averaged through, so make sure to select the individual activity scores. Click continue, and it should start grading your MindTap right there. You'll see this loading. We'll just wait for it for a few seconds here. And here we go. If you want to go through the setup, you can, but at this point you can really just skip the guided setup because there's really not much there for you to see. You'll end up here in the splash screen, and if you're successful, you'll see here the actual course that we made. Normally, if you do this the wrong way and you create your own MindTap without copying ours, you won't see these kinds of setup. You'll see the base MindTap where it was actually how Cengage has it set up instead of how the online learning has it set up. Okay, so that's one of the things. Aside from that, I would suggest for you guys to go to the top right here. You go to course settings, and I think it's dashboard. Yep, here we go. And make sure that you have the default view in outline so that you can see how we have it set up in the online learning. And aside from that, pretty much you are set up and this should be ready to go for your students. All your students need to go do is to click any of the links. That's all you really need to explain to them. They can go to week 0 and click the link there, and it'll show them how to enroll into that class. They don't need the course code, nothing outside of that. All they need to do is go through Blackboard itself. Okay, thank you.